All right, let's just dive right into this explainer of Eng's Notes on Fishkeeping. Specifically, we're going to be looking at part 298, which was published back on July 26th, 2026. What we're really exploring today is, well, it's essentially an extreme home makeover, but one designed entirely for a pair of incredibly stubborn fish. It is just fascinating to see how much deliberate effort goes into getting the environment exactly right for our aquatic friends, and this particular journal entry is a perfect masterclass in how to do exactly that. But, before the actual renovation begins, we really have to understand the unique problem we're trying to solve here. So how do you coax Kribensis Cichlids to breed? To get a pair of these guys, scientifically they're known as pelvicachromis-pulcher, by the way, to acclimate and get ready for breeding, you can't just toss them in a tank and cross your fingers. No way. You have to actively craft the ultimate aquatic romantic mood. These are highly, highly sensitive creatures. They rely on really specific environmental cues to tell them that their habitat is safe, it's stable, and it's the ideal place to settle down. So how exactly does an aquarist go about coaxing them into this mindset? Well, believe it or not, it starts with manipulating the weather. Now, what's really interesting here is this massive number, 90%. The author, Eng, actually found that doing a dramatic 90% water change is the absolute crucial first step in this whole process. You might be wondering, why such a drastic sudden change? Well, because out in the wild, replacing that sheer volume of water beautifully simulates a heavy rainy season. For these fish, that sudden influx of fresh water is this powerful, hardwired environmental trigger. It signals a time of renewal, and it completely kickstarts their natural instincts. Which brings us to Section 1, the aquarium home makeover. Because, hey, changing the weather just isn't enough, right? Just like a high-stakes real estate flip, Eng's journal details highly specific physical adjustments to the tank's layout in this distinct three-step renovation process. Step 1, you move that artificial terracotta pot cave all the way to the far back of the tank, giving them a nice, secluded, private corner. Step 2, you switch to finer construction sand for the flooring to change the tactile feel of their environment. And Step 3, you add some coral substrate. Every single design choice here is a very deliberate biological adjustment meant to perfectly mimic ideal breeding grounds. And this comparison brilliantly illustrates the strategic isolation involved in this kind of aquatic renovation. So look at item A, the previous tank state. It had multiple hiding spots, which frankly just splits the fish's attention. But then you have item B, the renovated tank state. It's drastically simplified, reduced down to just one single hiding spot. By getting rid of all the extra options, it effectively forces these prospective aquatic homebuyers to focus their attention on settling down in that one specific location. You're basically removing all the distractions so they bond with this one dedicated breeding cave. Let's move on to Section 2, early signs of success. So the big question, did this highly specific environmental manipulation actually work for our Kribensis pair? I mean, we changed the weather, flipped the real estate, forced their focus. And yeah, it absolutely paid off. The author observed a major behavioral shift. The male fish actually starts digging around the artificial cave, moving the substrate from place to place. In the cichlid world, this kind of active landscaping behavior is a classic, undeniable sign of settling in. He is literally putting in the physical sweat equity to prepare the site exactly the way he wants it. But, as with any natural process, patience is totally required. As Eng notes in the journal entry here, even though I've seen the male fish occupy the cave occasionally, I'm unsure whether the pair will start occupying it for breeding purposes. Nevertheless, it's a good start for now. So it's really a waiting game to see if they'll fully commit to it for actual breeding. But that initial acclimation to the space, it's undeniable. Those carefully designed environmental triggers successfully flipped a switch in their behavior. Which brings us to a really fascinating, broader question as we wrap up this explainer on the delicate balance of artificial environments and animal behavior. How intimately tied are the instincts of living creatures to the specific environmental cues we design for them? It kind of leaves us wondering just how deeply our own surroundings, the spaces we design and inhabit every day, manipulate our own instincts, our productivity, and our moods without us even realizing it. Definitely something to keep in mind the next time you decide to rearrange your own living space. Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with me.